Hey everyone, welcome to this video. In this video, what we will do, how we can run large language model and specifically the open source model on our machine. And it's a very easy way we can get up and running with this large language model. There are multiple options, but I'm going to mainly focus on the Ollama and the LM Studio. So let's get started with Ollama. It's a very simple program. You just go to ollama.com. When you click on download, it supports all three operating systems, Mac OS, Linux, and Windows. Whatever your desired operating system is there, you just select that, and then that's it. You download and install it. And once you have it installed, the way you can verify it, let's say if you go to your terminal and if you type Ollama, if this all commands comes, that means you have a Ollama successfully installed. And running a model is very simple. So if you click on this model tab, you can see all the open source models available on this platform. You can download any model, you can play around with any of them, and even the latest GPT open source models are available. So if I want to install this, I can just go and install any of the variant like 20 billion parameter, 120 billion parameter. Again, the one major thing is your machine should support that, and it's based on the GPU and the CPU and the RAM you have available. So try to run it. If your machine is not that powerful, it might fail installing or loading. What we can do right now, let's say there is a very good model available from a Gemma 3. Gemma 3 is nothing but the series of open source model from Google. And recently what they have done, they have released this Gemma 3 270 million parameter. This is a very small model. Okay. So as you can see, it's just like 292 MB downloadable. It only support text, doesn't support image and all. And it has a context window of 32,000 token. I think if you want to just see if your system support it or not, this is a very great model to get started with. So what you can do, you just copy paste this command, which is Ollama run, and you have to provide the model, and colon is nothing but the variant of that particular model. If you are familiar with the Docker, it follows the same principle of Docker. So in case of Docker, we provide the Docker image and the tag and everything. In this case, we have Ollama run, whatever the model we want. In our case is Gemma 3, and then 270 million parameter is the tag to run this model. And what we can do, we can simply copy this, and in my case, if I paste it and if I click enter, it will just load the model because I already have it downloaded. I can show that as well. So if I do Ollama list, you can see that I have already downloaded this model. So but when you run it for the very first time, what it will do, it will download the model and again, it's a very small model, and just it will load it. I can just say hi and the model give me the response, and that's it. It's as simple as that to get up and running with the open source model. Now what happened recently is Ollama released a very minimal UI on top of this. Previously they were only offering this as a CLI command. So now when you open the Ollama app, you just search for the Ollama app, and let's say if I enter, it should open a very small chat window. And let's say if you are not much comfortable with the command line, here you can see all the list of model available, and then you can click as soon as you start chatting with that, it will start downloading that model. In our case, let's say if I put Gemma 3, and as you can see this all these models I have not downloaded that. That's why we can see a small download in front of that particular model. In case I can see like this Gemma 3 is already downloaded, so I can just select, and again I can put hi, it will reply. I can do whatever I can type. I can say write a poem about programming, and it will just it's a very lightweight model, very fast model. You can just play around with it, so even if you are not connected to the internet, it will work. So Ollama is a very good option to get up and running, and you can play around with all these open source models. The next one which we are going to see is LM Studio. Again, this is also available for all three major operating system, Windows, Mac, and Linux. In my case, I'm on a Mac, so you can just click on download for Mac, and you can simply install based on your operating system. And here also you can click on the model, and it will show a list of all the models supported, and you can just click and you can get up and running. So as soon as you install the LM Studio, what you can do, you can open your launcher or your start menu based on your operating system and just open LM Studio. If you open it for the first time, you will see a window something like this. I'm going to explain all the major feature of this particular application. For the first thing, what we can do, as soon as we open this application, we need to download the model. So let's say if I click on this discover button, right, you just go there and you will see a bunch of model, open source model listed over here. And sometimes you can see, you can open, you can see the parameter and everything. And in certain cases, it shows if this model is going to run on your machine well or not. So this is in Ollama case, you don't know much, but in this case, if you open, let's say if I open a very huge model which I don't have a support, it kind of shows, hey, this model might not work well in your machine. Now, what we could do similarly, like there are a bunch of model available. You can search for OpenAI model and you can see this OpenAI GPT OSS models are also available. One good thing about the LM Studio is you can pull model from Hugging Face as well. Hugging Face is nothing but you can think of it like a GitHub for models, and where people publish all their models and everything, and you can search any of the model and you can load it in the LM Studio. Now let's do similar to that, we have that gemma model as well. If you just want to try, you can see like we have this 270 million model, and I have already loaded that model. So if I go here in my models, you can see I installed this model couple of days back, and we can chat with that model. One more thing I want to show is like when you go and click on the discover button, you can see the runtime supported based on your operating system. And a very good thing is they have a hardware section where you can see, in my case it's a M4 Mac, and you can see what is the CPU, how much memory it is supported by your machine, and all those information you can see it over here. So let's start with this model. So I have already downloaded this model. Again, it's going to be very quick. It's just a 240 MB model. And we can just go to chat. We can start a new chat. And the way you load the model is you click on this button over here, and it will show you all of your downloaded models, and you just click on any of those model and it will just install. So I will show you how it looks like. So let me eject this model because I loaded it before. So it will show me all the models. In my case, I only have one model. You click on it and just click on load model. It takes a couple of seconds, and once it is loaded, it will say the model is loaded. And similarly here I can chat with this model. And the good part about this application is you can see a little bit of more information, like, hey, how many tokens of output we generated, what was the speed. In this case, it's because it's a very lightweight model, it's very fast. We can see like it's a 200 token per second. Similarly, we can ask, hey, write a poem on programming, and it will just give you that. And again, it's a very fast response. Okay, but the good thing about the LM Studio is what we can do. Let's say if you are developing any AI application and you don't want to go to any cloud provider, and you don't want to pay to OpenAI when you are developing, because every time when we are developing, we are doing a lot of iteration, we are just testing out what we are doing. And what we could do is all these open source model, right? If you load it in LM Studio, they are OpenAI API compatible. So what I mean is there is this section called developer. As soon as you go to this section, you can see, hey, I have this model. I can get APIs similar to the OpenAI, and then I can just plug it in with my application, and whatever I'll run from that application, that request will come to this model and this model will run, and I don't have to pay anything because I'm running in this my machine, right? If this server is not running, you just click on this start server, and it will give you a couple of things. So it will give you, hey, these are the endpoints which are supported, and they are OpenAI like, and it will give you one endpoint. So what we can do quickly, I have this very simple Node.js based application. Here what we can see, we are using AI SDK from Vercel, and in this what we are doing, we are instantiating an OpenAI compatible function, and we just have to provide bunch of parameter. We can put names, anything. In our case, we're just putting it LM Studio, and base URL is the URL which we were seeing in that LM Studio. So you can see it over here. It's nothing but localhost 1234, and again, you just make sure to put /p1 because that's what it supports. And then what we can do, as soon as we have this model configuration done, we can call the generate text method from the AI SDK, and we can pass model as a LM Studio. And this is very interesting. You go to your LM Studio and you can see whatever the identification of that model which you want to run. And in our case, it's Gemma 3 270 million, and you just copy paste it over here. And prompt is something you can write anything, and in our case, we're just giving a maximum retry set 1, and whatever the output we will get from that model, we're just gonna spit it out over here. In this prompt, it's a write a vegetarian lasagna recipe for 4 people. So if I just do npm start, and what it will do, it will just send that prompt, and even we can see it over here. So if you go, you can see all those prompt and everything over here in the log. And we get the response, and we are just, that response is we are putting it out in the console window. So here we can see, here we have a small recipe to make lasagna for 4 people, and these are the ingredients and everything. Okay, so this is a very short video. I just wanted to put it out how we can run the models locally on our machine, and these are the really true great platform or application available. And please try it out, and you can get up and running in a very short amount of time. Thank you so much. Have a great day.